So I don't know what you guys' 2016 looked like, but this was mine. Hello everybody, welcome back to this week's video. I am so sorry I was not here last week. I got pretty sick, so I needed to take some time to just rest and relax for me. So I've missed you all, but I am here to make a video today. I am feeling better, but my voice is very quick to get like raspy and raw, so I apologize for that. Also, I can't find my mic, so we're going mic free this episode. I want to do something a little more fun for this video. Basically, I have some clothes here that I have been wanting to upcycle, cut, mess with, that sort of stuff. So I thought we could do it together today. I want to start with these jeans. These are my absolute favorite pair of jeans. They are a pair from Universal Threads from Target. They are just a pair of plain blue jeans. They're not plain, but you can see there's a bunch of flowers embroidered all over it. And as you can also see, is it this one? It's this one. They have ripped on me. And not in a like, oh, it ripped on my knee or in the front. It ripped in the crotch. Thankfully, I've tried these on so I know where the rip is. The rip's actually low enough that I can actually turn these into shorts. So that is what I'm going to do. I've done this before with other jeans that I've liked where like they fit around my waist, because that's a thing. This is one of the things I've been doing for a really long time, is making jeans into shorts, because when I was younger, because I was so much heavier, it was hard to find pants in general that fit me really well. But this is something, if you were a fat kid like I was in like middle school, high school, when it came to shorts specifically, they were either to your knees or showed off half your butt, because you were wearing like junior sizes or adult sizes when you were like 12 or 13, because that's what fit you. But they're designed for adults, and so they were way too short to actually wear to school. So I would take jeans that were well loved or had rips in them like these ones did, and I would turn them into shorts, and that's what I would wear for the summer. That to say, I am quite well versed in the shorts cutting arena. Let me see if I can angle you down so you can actually see what I'm doing. I cannot. Hold on, let me figure out a better angle. All right, I don't have a better angle. You guys are just gonna have to trust in what I'm doing. I'm gonna do my best to show it. So when you're cutting jeans, you want to cut them not straight across, but at like an angle. I don't know how dramatic of an angle I want. The more straight across they are, I like them pointed up, because that's just the angle I like. So I'm gonna start where the rip is, and I think I'm gonna go, I don't want too dramatic of an angle. I already know that the rip is low enough. I don't remember if I actually said this, that it's at a length that I want, because I don't want to show off my butt. That is not my thing. So I know that the lowest point where the rip is perfectly low enough for me. I think I want to go, I forgot to get something to mark. Let's not have them folded because that will make it more difficult. Let me do it this way. I do have like a flat surface here. It's like a lap desk. I don't want to, I'm very nervous. I have a rotary cutter, which if you guys don't know what this is, basically it's like a pizza cutter, but for fabric specifically. It's just a lot easier to make clean cuts. I also have my fabric scissors, but I like my rotary cutter too. So I think I'm gonna try and go for a less dramatic angle to start. I'm very mad at myself that I don't have anything to, oh wait, I think I can improvise. I believe I don't have any like actual safety pins in here. However, I do have like normal sewing needles. I'm not actually going to be sewing anything but I can just stab it into the fabric where I want it. Let's go to here. I'm gonna place just a stitch marker, not like in the fabric, but I've gone straight across, and I think I'm gonna go up 4 inches for the angle. I'm gonna attempt, there we go, stab through the angle. Here, let me see if I can show you this. So this is the straight across where the stitch marker is, and then I have the needle poking out where we're gonna cut. So we're gonna do this angle. I'm okay with it being a little rougher because we're gonna like go at it with like files and stuff to like really rough up the edges. So I'm not super concerned about this being like perfect or anything. Okay, this rotary cutter, it doesn't always work for jeans. I like to attempt. We're going in with the fabric scissors. Pant leg one off. You can see. I think that looks good. So now I can fold it in half. Okay, let me do it this way. So now I get the other pant leg on. Seeing where that one starts is pretty easy. So now we're gonna go about, do the same thing. Try and go as straight across as I can get it. There, stitch marker, and go about 4 inches from down. So right there. It looks the same as last time, but we're going in with the fabric scissors to start. I always forget how much harder jean is to cut than other fabrics. Pant leg number 2. So here they are. Those are much more different than I thought they would be. Okay, hold on. This side needs more taken off. So let's go here. How does that look? Still not as, okay, let me do it like this. Okay, so I measured, hold on, let me stab this through and I'll explain what I just did. So I measured from the highest point on the other side to the, so I measured straight across from this end to over here. So this is where I've stabbed it through. So this is the angle we're gonna attempt. I am gonna go in with the rotary cutter just to give myself a better line to work with when I'm cutting. It'll dent the fabric more than anything, but that's all I really need to follow. So I don't need like an exact line here. I should also mention that where I'm cutting as well, it's low enough down that I have a couple of inches of wiggle room as well while I'm cutting to try and get them. That looks much better. Yeah, I have a couple of inches of wiggle room in case I cut them like in like what just happened and I didn't cut them super evenly, so I can make them a little bit nicer. Okay, before we go in with any roughing up of the edges and stuff, I'm just gonna quickly try these on to see how they look. I'm doing that off camera though. Okay, so this is how they look in the front. You can see they're perfectly covered in the back. I'm trying to like, I have a mirror over here, so I'm trying to see. I gotta move the candle. But this side, I think they look good. There is like a bit of a like it goes up here, as you can see, and it stays pretty flat on this side, but I'm not gonna mess with them too much, so let's just get to the roughing up part. To fray up the edges, I'm going to be taking a nail file. This is like a really cheap one that I've had forever, and I'm basically going to sandpaper around the edges. I'll show you a little bit on my hand. It's gonna be easier for me to do it on like when it's laying flat, but just to show you, I'll do a small little section here. There, now you can see this is the part that I frayed and this is the part that I just cut. You can see that it's just a little more like roughed up and stuff. So I'm basically gonna do that all the way around until it looks the way that I want it to. You can go in and do this with like actual sandpaper, but I have a nail file. And again, this is what like I used to do when I would make my shorts that were actually school appropriate before, so feels very nostalgic. So let's talk about the t-shirts next. Actually, you know what I did want to talk about was I wanted to know if any of you watched the DIY clothing people. This is also very funny because this is what I did in 2016 and everybody's doing things and like how they did it in 2016 and stuff. So I don't know what you guys' 2016 looked like, but this was mine. Making shorts that weren't gonna get me in trouble at school. But I used to love and adore people like Alicia Marie, Lore DIY, Ava. I loved their videos. I watched them all the time and would make clothes like this. So it feels very full circle to now be the one on the internet making the clothes. And that's such a great sound. Obviously these are gonna get like a lot more frayed and stuff over time as I wear them more. This is just for that initial so that the raw like cut that I made isn't as noticeable. And now these have a little bit more life in them so I can wear them longer. Because like I said, this is one of my favorite pairs because now, even though I don't need to be as worried about the actual length of my shorts, there you can see I'm just slightly more tattered and stuff. Yeah, like I said, now that I don't need to worry about the length, I do still find trouble sometimes finding things that fit me or things that are just comfy to wear. And I really liked these pants, so although I am still quite sad that they will no longer be a pair of full jeans for me to wear, I can at least continue to get some wear out of them as shorts now. We are now moving into my t-shirts. I don't want to use this one. I'm going to use my old college t-shirt. This isn't the college I went to. This is from Husson University. When I was doing things at my tech center, we went to a bunch of different colleges, and I got this t-shirt specifically as a freebie because Husson University was hosting like an event for all the tech centers in Maine where you could come and see how like different degrees that you could get at Husson. And so it was very fun. They did a very good job. I got a free shirt out of it. Yeah. So yeah, like I said, it was very fun, but it's now at the point with this shirt where it's like, I have a lot of big comfy t-shirts, and this one I think I'd like to make something more like this out of. So you can see this is like a muscle t-shirt. This is my only one left. I had a bunch of them. I don't even remember how long ago now, but I did have a bunch of them and I loved them. I wore them all the time, but I ended up having to get rid of them for whatever reason. I can't remember if it was like I made the decision that it was just part of my wardrobe that was going, if they stopped fitting, because a lot of my clothes stopped fitting and so I had to get rid of them, or what. All I know is I only have this one left, and I would like more, especially now that we're moving into the summer. Having a shirt like this, just to even just wear around the house would be really nice. So I'm starting with this shirt because I have less sentimental attachment to it than my other two that I have here. So if I mess up, because this is one that I have not done for a very long time, versus the shorts I feel pretty comfortable with. So we're going back in with the rotary cutter. And I'm basically just going to I'm starting by cropping it. So I've lined the necks up to the best of my ability, and now I'm just cutting right below where this one is. So it'll be about the same-ish length. And thankfully, rotary cutters work much better on cotton t-shirts than they do on jeans. So this is going much smoother. Although I am cutting through 2 layers of fabric, so I do have to go over it like a couple times. It is now cropped to the length that I wish. Now, I'm trying to debate if I want to cut the collar, because you can see on this one has a nice wide collar, and this one's a lot tighter. Let's start with just the sleeves, because I want to cut the sleeves. So I don't want to cut all the way. Okay, so again, this is something if you've never like cut your own clothes before is if you have a piece of clothing that you already like the length of, the shape of, whatever, is just to use that as like a template. So like right now I'm lining up the edges of the tank top to the shirt, and again I'm just going to take my rotary cutter and cut along the shirt, like the edge of the shirt where everything is starting to get lined up, so I get that same sort of shape. Also, if you're using a rotary cutter, make sure you're cutting on like a hard surface. Don't like cut like on your carpet or something. I have like a little table I'm cutting on right now because you will cut your carpet. I never finished that sentence, but yeah, just be careful. So once again, I am lining up the edge of this shirt. The muscle tank I'm lining up over the t-shirt as flat as I can get it. I never I told you my voice was going to start going at some point. See, I have everything lined up again with the muscle tank over the t-shirt, and I'm just going to follow it and cut. I'm also trying to follow it pretty carefully because I also don't want to cut the muscle shirt. I just want to cut the t-shirt. Yeah, once I pass through with the rotary cutter and I get the line, even if it's not fully cut through everywhere, I remove the muscle tank because I don't want to like fully, so I just don't want to cut the muscle tank, so I can prevent it. I will try. Here is the Husson t-shirt. Yes. Actually don't, yeah, I do want to cut the collar. This is like really up close to my neck. I'm not a fan. But yeah, my bra is showing, but like I said, this would be more of a shirt that I wear around the house this summer because I do have tank tops, but they're more like a traditional spaghetti strap tank top. I don't have a shirt like this outside of this one. So now I have two. I'm just going to literally cut the actual like ribbed part of the collar off. So I'm going to use my fabric scissors. I'm just going to follow along the stitches and cut as close to, you can see, as close to the actual stitch line as possible. This is a little bit difficult to do with a rotary cutter, so I'm just going to use these scissors. Just taking my time, no rush. I cut the tag. Who needs tags anyway? And there we go. Now it's going to have a much wider neck, so it's not going to be like up by my neck. It'll be a lot more comfy. Okay, I think I'm gonna do just one more. I know I have two t-shirts here, but I was debating if I wanted to do the Niagara Falls one because this trip meant a lot to me when we went. For those who don't know, back in I think 2021 it would have been, 2020, 2021, one of those two. Me, my mom, and my sister went to Niagara Falls, and it was the first vacation we went on after I got my wheat allergy diagnosis. And I started using mobility aids, and it was the first, what I call my disabled vacations, where I actually accommodated my disabilities the whole time. And it was like the nicest vacation I've ever been on. Well, maybe not anymore. we've been on a few others that have been just as nice or better now that I knew more. It was like the first time I ever had the experience of what accommodations could actually do for you, and realizing like how much nicer trips and stuff could be when you have it. So because of that, I honestly don't think I have the heart to actually even just crop the shirt. But this one I do, because this one kind of like, I don't know if I can find it, but this shirt is starting to get a few small little holes in it. This is another college t-shirt. This is the college that my mom works at, actually. So I do want to crop this one. And I like, because I also really like I like the length of the sleeves for the t-shirt on this one. It hits me a lot closer to my elbow than other crop shirts do. So I would very much like, so I'm gonna keep the sleeves on this one. I'm not gonna cut the collar or anything. I'm just gonna crop it. And I like the length of the muscle tank, so I'm gonna use that as my template again. So where's my rotary cutter? Oh no, I went at an angle. Oops. It's not that deep. It's just not. And now I have a new boxy crop top, and I get to keep the logo. That is me doing up a few t-shirts and stuff. I have some other clothes that I really like. No. I have some other clothes, like I just got a new pair of black jeans to replace the jeans we just cut. And I want to like embroider those and do some other things. Like I just got a sewing pattern that I bought to make face masks, like cloth ones, so I wanted to do some of those as well. But I did want to see how you guys like this, because this is very different for me here on this channel. I've never done like a clothing making video outside of my cardigan video, and you guys like that. So let me know if you like this, if there's any other clothing DIY, upcycling, customizing clothes things that you want me to try. I'd love to do them, so let me know in the comments. With that, I will say thank you so much for watching this video. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. It really helps me out. On screen now are my social media handles if you'd like to see more day-to-day things that I get up to. And with that, I will see you next week for a brand new video. Bye-bye.